am Sitara. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you are new to my channel, I am ranked top 5 female psychic in the US by the American Federation of Certified Psychics and Mediums. I am the founder and creator of Monad and the Monad Society, which is a school of intuitive and psychic development held in virtual and hopefully soon in-person classes. So welcome, welcome. I am jumping on here every single week to bring you a beautiful transmission of whatever the world or whatever opens in our heart space. So as we set this container space, as we open into this path of journeying, of allowing what healing is required to take place, to bring in more openness, to bring in more liveliness, to bring in more joy. That is what the goal is here. My intention with this channel is to just open a beautiful golden pocket of universal love so that you can tune in when you are feeling down, or you can tune in when you're feeling good, and it's going to either way continue to raise your vibrational frequency. We are here on the path of ascension. I believe with what's going on in this world right now that we are here to ascend through it. I really believe this is why I was born. I really believe that you are here watching and tuning into my channel because you also have special and unique gifts and qualities that are here to help support the ascension of the planet, which means vibrationally that we are shifting into a new state of consciousness. So, dimensions. Let's talk a little bit about dimensions. Dimensions are frequency. Everything is frequency, actually. Spoiler alert, everything is energy. Everything is frequency. So, as a medium, one of my gifts, let me describe this a little bit. So, all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. Mediums have the ability to communicate with spirits that are out of body. So a lot of times this is, people come to mediums if they've lost a loved one or family member, but that is not the limit of what mediumship capabilities are. So as a medium, we can communicate with beings that are in higher levels of consciousness, higher dimensional frequencies, beyond the 5th dimension, beyond the 7th dimension, and above. I'm not going to get into that right now because I want to focus on just being able to build a more clear foundation of how these abilities work. So as a medium, I'm gifted in being able to communicate with, we'll just focus on loved ones that have passed. When these loved ones are no longer in their body, they shift into a vibrational resonance. Their consciousness still exists. In some cases, I can see these people that come to me and they will come dressed in an outfit that would be recognizable to the person that is there asking me to connect with them. And I believe that this takes place simply for the resonance, for the validation, for the clarity that who is showing up is in fact that particular person. However, when they pass, they really turn into pure consciousness. So that space of pure consciousness is still held in the vibrational signature. And vibrational signature is a term that I like to use, kind of created it, that's similar to our thumbprints. So we all have a signature frequency that is unique to our own little sliver of the universe that is ours. So in a mediumship space, I'm connecting with a relative that has passed on, again, just focusing on that, a relative that has passed on. And so I can connect with their signature frequency, but again, they will show me emanations of who they are to create that validation for the person sitting in front of me. I don't always think that that is necessary. So when we move out of the 5th dimension, let's stay with the 5th dimension actually for a little bit. This is a vibrational resonance. Now, what I have been shown very clearly in the last several months of my own journeying in life is that it is very clear that we are actually bringing our third dimensional physical form bodies, as we call them, into 5D. 5D is a space and a place that is only vibrational frequencies. It is not dense, it is not matter. Now, even in the things that are matter, they are moving they are moving electrons, moving atoms. So in even the most solid and the most dense of substances here on this planet, these things are still moving molecules. So what's happening in those moving molecules is space, it's information, it's frequency. So this is why and how also when I'm sitting in a room and a person's loved one wants to come and share space with us, they just come into the space. They just appear. Sometimes I have seen them come through walls. Sometimes they literally just pop in and show up. The way that I understand this to be is because the wall itself is not solid. The building itself is not solid. So in this frequency of awareness, in this frequency of space, there is an extraordinary amount of information. And if you've been tuning into my channel for a while, you've heard me say, like, between me and this camera or me and this iPad, there is an extraordinary amount of information. What we as humans see with our physical eyes as air, what we call air, is actually an incredible wealth of information. And this is why, like when people are in a field of energy together, let's say there's 4 people in a house, for me, I am extremely susceptible to feeling their emotions just simply because that is how I am wired. That is how I operate. It's how I was born. My strongest gift is being able to feel the feelings and emotions of others. The reason that I can feel that from them if I'm in that space with them is because they are emitting a vibrational currency. That vibrational currency is operating in the 5th dimension. It is not matter, right? People don't have like a big teardrop in front of their heart that says, I'm sad. Their face might say, I'm okay, I'm functioning. But really their heart is breaking and something inside is not quite operating, but their vibrational integrity is telling me that something is off. And what I mean by vibrational integrity is that the purity of their frequency, the purity of their vibration that they are holding has this information. So this is operating in the 5th dimension. Your spirit was formless before the moment of conception. So before the moment that sperm meets egg and your physical body starts this miraculous process of creation, you were formless. You had access to all infinite great knowledge, and you still do. That has not been lost on you. What has happened is an extraordinary amount of programming in this extremely dense 3rd dimensional world that we are living in that has trained you away from experiencing yourself as spirit. That infinite part of you is your immortal soul. It is a part of you that does not die when the physical body stops operating. That part of you continues on, it carries on, it lives on. You shift into your formless expression once again. And I could talk a whole lot more about what happens on that side from what I've experienced in talking to these people. Another gift that I have is to help earthbounds cross, meaning spirits that are stuck or have unfinished business. Not all people cross over into the light when they pass. There's a lot that takes place in that passage. And so some have, I learned about unfinished business in being a medium. I learned that there are certain things that even in death, we do not get to skip over. And so when that takes place, place, there's also an opening sometimes that needs to happen. So this whole world that I explored in my early 20s, because I had to understand the gifts that I was given, they were working to my detriment when I was ignoring them. And let me rephrase that because I think it's really important for this one to land. When I was ignoring my mediumship abilities that I was born with, in part to fit in part to not be like the crazy one. And when I was in high school, there were a few of my girlfriends and a few people that caught wind of this or knew that it was happening in my world because I couldn't quite hide it, but I also didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know who to talk to about it. I didn't know how to develop it. I didn't know if it was something I needed to be afraid of even. So in my early 20s, when I finally faced it, because I was like, I have to sort this out. Like, I have to understand. I started learning so much from firsthand experiences of communicating with these beings that are outside of physical presence. So, angels. Let's shift into angels a little bit. I had my first experience with an angel when I was going through a terrible breakup. I had moved out of California and I had moved back into my grandmother's house, which I think I was like 26 maybe. It was a very humbling experience to go and be out in the world for so many years and then get into a position and place to move back in with my grandmother, which was also extremely beautiful experience. But I was sitting on the couch. I was completely distraught. I was completely heartbroken. I was completely lost. I was like, well, what am I going to do? And as I was sitting there, Archangel Raziel was the first one that came to me actually and just sat like right there. And he said, we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you to hear us. We've been waiting for you to turn to us. We've been waiting for you to see us. And that night I had one of the most profound dreams I've ever had in my life to date. What I've started learning about angels is that there is an extraordinary group of people here that have volunteered by passing through the angelic realm. I believe this because I have accessed those memories inside of myself. I have seen the moment when I volunteered and chose to come and incarnate again here on earth. And with those memories came an extraordinary amount of information from being surrounded by angels, from being an angel. And that is where and why I started my first program, the Earth Angels program. If you go back to some of my earlier videos that I made 4 and 5 years ago, I talk about being embodied angels. One of my absolute favorite things to do in this world, my absolute favorite moment to share with another human being is the moment that they connect to their angel wings. The moment that you connect with your fifth dimensional body and you start remembering where you came from and why you are here. It's an indescribable experience. It's an indescribable awakening of allowing your human identity to fall away and shift. And let me tell you, when that took place for me, I thought I was losing it. I thought I was losing it when I was psychic and started developing my, mediumship abilities. And then I realized that when you close your eyes and you see things, it's actually way more real than we're taught to believe. We're taught to believe that when we close our eyes, it's imagination. It's not real. That what you make up in your mind is trickery. This is not true. It is simply not true. When you close your eyes, you are seeing into the fifth dimensional world. When you close your eyes and you visualize, when you close your eyes and you see things, or when you feel things, or when you hear things, you are hearing things in the non-physical world. The non-physical world is not somewhere else. It is right here, right here, right here in the space between you and me right now. It is right here. All of these dimensions coexist with us in real time right now. This is how miracles happen. Energy can move things very quickly. This is why time is not finite. We think it is because we have measurements of seconds, minutes, hours. Time is not finite. You know you have had experiences where time slows down, and you've had experience where time just goes by in the blink of an eye. It's beautiful. It is such a beautiful experience when you start learning to interact with these worlds in a way that serves yourself, because when it serves yourself, it also serves the planet. It also serves what we are doing here in supporting Mama Gaia to heal through all of the trauma that we have bestowed on her and the trauma that the humans have experienced by not being able to see themselves clearly. This fifth dimensional world, to interact with it, takes our free will. We have to choose to see it. We have to choose to ask for help. We have to choose to ask for support. We have to choose to put ourselves in the position in which we are then seen and loved and supported by our angels, by our guides, by our loved ones that become our guardians after they pass. We have to choose to say, I would like access to this. I would like to know. I would like to remember. We have to choose that. That is on us. And until we choose that, there are experiences, right, where miracles happen and things take place. But ultimately, when we start to consciously choose to interact and say, I want to participate. I want to participate a little bit more. I want to experience life just a little bit differently. I want to jump in to this world with a heart open and full of love, guidance, embrace, beauty, wonder, all of these things. It's so profound. It's so beautiful. It's so like, yes, 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 yes. It is nothing to be afraid of. Does that mean that dark things aren't present in that world? No, it doesn't. But dark things are present in this world too. Wouldn't you rather know? Wouldn't you rather know? Wouldn't you rather be prepared? Wouldn't you rather understand? Wouldn't you rather learn how to communicate and interact in a way that helps you actually feel even more safe than you were before? There's so much power and there's so much beauty in your own embrace of this world in its totality. So how does that happen? That happens by allowing your heart to lead your egoic consciousness. Your heart is where your soul resides. Your heart is the access point to all infinite knowledge. When your heart is broken, when your heart is in pain, when your heart is grieving, when your heart is having anything other than an open-hearted, expressed experience, what ends up happening is a complete disillusion and amnesia from where you came from, which is why I believe emotions are so controlled on this planet. It's why I believe that we are desensitized to violence. It's why I believe that pornography is just so readily and widely available, because it pulls us out of our heart center and connecting with human beings in one of the most sacred acts that we have to share with another human. These things pull us away from our heart. They pull us away from connection. When we pull away from connection of other people, when we pull away from the connection of our heart, we're pulling away from the truth of our origin. We're pulling away from where it is that we have our full power activated. Your full power, your full magnetic presence, that authenticity, that full line of powerful energy happens as it moves through you. Such a beautiful thing. It is such a beautiful, 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 beautiful thing, which is why I've dedicated my world and my life to doing everything I can to help people connect with their hearts, to see who they truly are underneath the egoic identity. And so how we get there also is by nurturing the ego, because the ego is where the programming lies. The ego is not to be shamed. It's not to be punished. It's not to be minimized. The ego is your protector, and it is also your internal program system. And this is how we learn from other people how to be, how to act. So when you wake up and you start to remember, you actually become somebody who helps unravel the programming that has been bestowed upon us by standardized testing and schooling and. to unravel these things, to connect in with the goodness of the infinite expansion of your heart. It is so worth it. It is not always easy, but I can tell you it is so worth it, my love. So, of course, if you want to go deeper, one of the things that I highly recommend is starting with 7 weeks to embody your higher self. This is a course that has been recorded, and I have people joining into it now, sending me still the most incredible testimonials of what this course is doing for them in their world and in their life. It is extremely easy. You just pop in the headphones, you lay back, and you listen, and that is literally all you need to do. There's no homework, there's no studying, there's no anything. And it will peel away the layers of who you think you are, who identities that have been projected on you from other people. And it will help you to become very clear and earnest with your path of presence. So there's a link for that one in the description of this video through the link tree you can also find on my Instagram channel. If you haven't already, please go follow me over there. So I guess the light transmissions did not come through today. It felt very important to share this other information with you. Thank you so much for being present with me. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to sit and tune in to how your multidimensional self is the conduit between realms. Your multidimensional self is what pulls from the ethers and drops down into this physical world, and this is how we are shifting the consciousness of the planet. We have volunteered. This is why we are born, this time and period of chaos and strange destruction and separation and all these things. There's power, there's beauty, there's wisdom. There's so much wisdom in it. So rise above, stay in the silver lining. Remember your joy. Always, 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 always stay in your joy. And the tools and techniques and classes and courses and the things that I offer are specifically designed to help you connect with that in a more concise and clear way. So I hope this video has served you. Please do feel free to share, to comment, any and all support in that way. There's also some donation links in the description. Any and all support is deeply and graciously appreciated. I am sending you so much love, my dear friend. I cherish you and appreciate all your kind words and support. So with that, my love, as we go forth, may we integrate the healing and the blessings received with courage, self-love, and compassion. Our session here today is complete.